End of an era for Cork. Shane Ronayne telling us there that she stepped back from intercounty football after 12 years. From a Cork football manager's point of view, what a terrific career she's had for Cork.
Absolutely fantastic. I suppose I was involved before with the late Eamon Ryan, in 14 and 15, and Orla was a huge player for us then and has continued to be, a massive player for Cork for the last, for those 12 years. I suppose a great player to work with, an unbelievably diligent trainer, really looked after herself all the time. And I suppose, she was a fantastic character as well, very nice girl. And, we're very sorry that she's gone, but I suppose I spoke to her before Christmas, and she said that, she was just out to herself and Brian were just about to get married, and she planned to go on a bit of traveling and things like that. So, look, I again, as I said to any of these people who have stepped away or anything like that, that the door is open, and she's still young enough, but I suppose, she's a lot of football played too, Kieran, and she's probably settling into married life now, and there's other priorities maybe coming, but look, I couldn't but speak highly enough of Orla. To her, as I said, her character fantastic, and was a brilliant player as well. And I suppose she's going to be a huge loss within the squad as well, even for our younger players, to see how she prepares for games and how seriously she takes it. And she was always the first to training and out doing her warm up and her practicing her frees and things like that. A fantastic role model, and as I said, a fantastic person as well. So look, we're very sorry to see her go, but we wish her all the best, because she owes Cork ladies football absolutely nothing. And look, she's going to probably play away with Kinsale, and she's brought great success to them, in their run to the All-Ireland final a few years ago. And so look, she as I said, she's a fantastic player and a fantastic person. So look, we wish her all the best.
As the door closes for one, it opens for another. Like, we've had a couple of players stepping back from Cork. Martin O'Brien retired, Anya Terry stepped aside, Emer Scally stepped back, and now Orla. Okay, really, really top class players, proved it for Cork over the years. But for the young players coming into the squad, and some of the players in there now, it's a chance for players now to stake a claim in this team. So it's very exciting for the players involved with Cork at the moment.
Absolutely. Look, I suppose we brought in a load of minors this year. Any girl who was overage for next year's minor campaign, who was on the minor panel last year with Cork, was given a chance to come in, and we brought in a lot of players from the club scene as well. We went to a lot of matches last autumn, and took in as many games as we could. And we even up until the very end there, we brought in Amy McDonough from Neva Bawn, based on her displays with Neva Bawn later in the year. We probably hadn't seen her earlier in the year, because it was the junior championship. We didn't get to that those earlier games. Look, it's very exciting for them. I think what also helped in the younger players have remarked on it, that there were so many younger players came in. They weren't daunted by the experience, because there were so many of them there. They knew each other, and I suppose, look, there's a very young age profile in the squad. A lot of this, there isn't. There's a couple of the older players are still there, and we've a middle cohort there of 22, 23. But we've a lot of younger players in there, and they fitted in very well. They're training very hard. They have a great attitude. I suppose they have a winning mentality after being successful at underage. And they don't have any fear, which is great. And we feel the work we've done so far since September, is starting to bear fruit. We played Tipping Challenge game there last Friday night, and we were very happy with the way they performed. And training has been going very well. So look, it's very, very exciting, and it's a huge chance for lots of them to get game time in the league when there's not all these senior players around. So we're going to use the league to experiment with a lot of the players.
That's very important too, Shane, to integrate a lot of these young players into this Cork squad, because we still have the Ciara O'Sullivans, the Darren O'Sullivans, like serial winners with huge experience. So for these young players to soak as much knowledge as they can off those experienced players who've been there and done that.
Yeah, look, and I think it'd be like I was talking with Orla, the way she carries herself, the way the likes of the O'Sullivans do, Roisin Phelan, these players, they're consummate professionals, even though they're not professionals, and I think even when those girls come back in and around the squad, for training or for gym sessions, the players see how they prepare themselves and how diligently they do everything. And I think that's fantastic for those younger players to see that. And I suppose, look, those younger players would have been down through the years watching in awe maybe of the likes of Darren and Kira and things like that, and now they're actually sharing a dressing room with them. And as I said, they haven't been daunted by the experience. They're really enjoying it, and I think the players, I suppose, we're lucky in the fact that we've a nice squad there, and everybody's been made feel very welcome. And the younger players, the younger players are fitting in very well. And I suppose players who played well last year, like Sarah Lee, like she's been given a leadership role this year. Emma Cleary, leadership role as well within the squad, and they're kind of looking after different groups for us. And I think they're part of the leadership group that we've set up. And I think it's very exciting, and I think they're learning from the senior players, and they see the standards that they need to meet. I suppose it's a huge step up from minor to senior. But in fairness to them, they've done very well so far. They're working really hard, and they understand that they're coming into they're minor stars from last year. They're now coming into a squad full of minor stars. So I suppose that's a hard thing, I suppose, for them to grasp. Maybe that they mightn't get to see loads of game time straight away, but we'll blood them in, and we know we're not going to expose anybody too early. But there are certainly some of the minors who've really stepped up, and they certainly would see game time next Sunday against Mayo.
How do those leadership groups work within the Cork setup?
Yeah, what we have, we've two vice captains, Emma Cleary and Sarah Lee, and Maura Kellan as captain, and we also have Libby Coppinger then as our fourth member of that leadership group. As Libby is she's a dual player. We have a number of dual players, so we wanted to have that voice. And I suppose Libby has vast experience. Again, we know again. I think those characters that we have in that group are fantastic leaders. They don't need to be vocal all the time. They lead by example. They're a very calming presence then as well. And look, I suppose they just set the standards, and they had a meeting there last week. They led the team meeting, the players meeting. We didn't call it or anything like that. It was the players called themselves, just I suppose to outline the standards that they expect for the year. And the players, it was a very positive meeting, the girls said. And I think we're very happy with the leadership group we have. They will be able to deal with lots of things for us. Little things go on during the year. And I think that's important. Look, every team has them, and we're very happy with the group we have. And we'll liaise with them then every couple of weeks and see if there's any issues that are cropping up, or our message that we want to get back to the players. And sometimes as I said, it's way better coming from players themselves when they're driving it themselves. And they really have driven it since September. They were very anxious to get back going very early.
Amy McDonough there of Naval Ball has been brought into the squad. Can you fill us in on some of the new faces that we might see in the Cork jersey during the league?
Yeah, look, I suppose I said the minors like Abigail Ringlow, had an excellent minor campaign, and she's playing very well for us. I'd expect her to see game time. There's look, Rachel Lee was obviously there last year, but I think she's going to be a huge player for us this year. We brought in lots of club players as well, like the Lydia McDonough is in as well as Amy. We're hoping to have Rachel Welton in from Castlehaven. She had a very good campaign with Castlehaven, but she's carrying an injury at the moment, so we're not sure exactly what the situation will be with her. Quivo Callan is back in the squad from Kinsale. We've Ellen Toomey, who had a brilliant campaign with Glenmire, is involved. We've the two Kylies are huge additions back. They went to America last summer. It was the last opportunity, I suppose, to go on a J1. So when they contacted me last year, look, I gave them a blessing. So look, down the doors. When you come back next year, we want you back. And in fairness to the two of them, now they've really applied themselves since they come home. And I think the two of them are going to have a huge league campaigns for us. And I suppose, look, when you're looking down through the squad, there's an opportunity. I suppose we won't see some of the experienced players for a while. Roisin Phelan has got an extended honeymoon, and the two O'Sullivan girls, Kira and Darren, won't be involved at the early stages of the league. They're coming back from injuries. So I think it'll be. Melissa Duggan was away for a few months. She's very refreshed now. She's a great form. She's moved home. She's not in Dublin anymore or Galway. She did a lot of travelling to do in the last few years. So I think you're going to see a new Melissa this year. Look, as I said, we're very excited about what's going to happen, because we have so much talent in the squad, and I think there's certainly lots of new faces going to see game time. And I suppose, look, next Sunday against Mayo, it's a daunting trip, I suppose, first day out, and after what happened last year. So look, we're putting a bit of focus on that game. We'll try and mix. We'll probably have plenty of experience out there as well. and try and blood the newer players in. Then we don't want to, I suppose, in any game this year, have too many newer players playing, because I don't think that gives them a chance to shine. There's too much pressure on them. But I think, look, the way we're going to look at it is that, they're going out there, we'll give them plenty of game time. They're not going to be looking over their shoulder, see if they're going to be taken off if there's a big gun coming on instead of them or something like that. Because we want to develop players. We have a big squad at the moment. There's 39, 40 players in there at the moment, training with us. So, we have a lot of dual players there as well. We've Orla Cala and Aoife Healy are newer players. They're dueling, and you have Hannah and Hannah Libby as well, and Maeve. So look, it's going to be very exciting, I think, and there's going to be lots of new faces going to get lots of game time in the league.
And one big addition this year is Eric O'Shea, back from obviously played with North Melbourne in the Aussie Rules last year, but she's committed now for the league and championship. To have her back, she was an all-star defender in her last season, which is the year before last. Like that's a big boost for Cork, Shane.
Oh, listen, absolutely. She texted me. She was only after playing a couple of hours. She texted me saying, "Could we meet up at Christmas time?" And I was delighted because it was that morning I'd seen the story about Vicky Wall being able to play for Meath. So, I travelled down to Macroom to have a chat with her, and I was delighted when she said that she was able to commit for the championship and the league. I suppose that was the big thing last year. She wasn't allowed by her club. There was people wondering why she didn't play championship first last year. She actually wasn't allowed by North Melbourne. Vicky had a different deal with them, and a couple of other players like Dawn and Mackin had a different deal with her club. It's just down to the individual. But this year, I think herself and Vicky spoke to the club together. I think it was helpful that Vicky was there as well. So look, we're delighted with Erica. She was back training 2 days later after the meeting her below Macroom, and she was excellent the other night against Tipperary. She's fitted in seamlessly into the squad. Look, she's a great character, very bubbly. The girls are delighted to have her back. And look, I think she has come on leaps and bounds in the last year physically, and I think even she's matured, and I think she's going to be huge year for us, I think. And look, as long as we can keep her injury free, she has a big workload. She still has stuff to do. She has to do for North Melbourne, so we just need to work with that with my S&C coach, and look, we'll deal with North Melbourne as well. So we're just trying to make sure she's fresh, because look, I think she's going to be a huge figure for us this year.
As you mentioned there, that the league throws in this weekend Cork away to Mayo. So looking at the league as a whole, what do you hope to get out of it?
Well, it's going to be difficult to get to the league final. You're looking to probably win 5 or 6 games out of the 7, which is a tall order. I think there's going to be lots of teams take points off each other. I don't think there's going to be a standout team in the league, because some of the teams are very even, and some players aren't back for some counties yet and things like that. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. So look, we're hoping to obviously we want to stay up, number one. I know that probably sounds a bit negative, but look, we really are going to use the league to blood new players, because I think it's very important that we go into the summer, into the championship, where we have a very, very strong squad, and players, I suppose, they're fighting for jerseys. That there's not an automatic team selection, and it's something we definitely need to improve on from last year, that our intensity of training in the lead up to championship games has to go up. And I think if players have got a chance during the league, they know that that they could have a chance during the summer as well. So we're, like as I said, if things go well next Sunday for us, it's we go into the Waterford game then, in great form, and we've the Dubs at home, on the new bank holiday. We have a number of games in TG4, and in Parky Ring. So we're delighted with that, and fair play to Cork GA for allowing us to use Parky Ring. So we've 3 games on TV. They're going to be big games. Paddy's Day, we've Kerry. So look, it's very, very exciting, and as I said, we're really going to use it to develop players, because I think we need a stronger panel, and I think people fighting for jerseys in the summer, and not just that people accepting, I'm not going to get game time. I think people are going to, the way we want it this year now is that everybody's fighting for a jersey, and every session is intense, as we felt last year, especially in the lead up to the Mayo game, that there was a lack of intensity some nights of training. And look, we have to address that, and that's, I suppose that young blood that we're after, and that has come into the squad. I think they, as I said, they have no fear. So I think they're going to bring up the standards of, we say, the intensity of training. And training so far has been has been fantastic. Like, you know, and we trained there last Wednesday night and above in Delaney's, and, you know, fair play to them for giving us the facility, because it was an awful night. You couldn't, you know, but the intensity and the work that they put in, the girls, I think, you know, it was reminiscent, actually. It just reminded me of sometimes when we used to train with Eamon out in the farm, you know, and the lights weren't always the greatest out in the farm, and but it just created a great bond, I think. And I think I said to them Wednesday night, if they could play and train like the way they did in that muck, that when we played on a good field, you know, that they could certainly play brilliant football, and they did that Friday night. You know, in the sand-based pitch below in Feathered against Tip. You know, they played some great football, and I think Wednesday night stood to them. You know, in that muck and dirt. So look, as I said, couldn't be happier with them at the moment, and look, we're really looking forward to the weekend.
Great stuff. Hopefully the league will start off on a positive note this Sunday. Best of luck against Mayo, and best of luck this season, Shane. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Kieran.